Kraken. Oh, hell no. These fools changed it up again. This one's even worse than the last ones. These ones by far have to be the worst setup. Hold up. I'm just reading all these new rules, I guess. Okay, well, no, actually, that one's cool. I like that one. I ain't gonna lie. That one's interesting. Okay, but I don't think I want to test it out right now. I don't really want to get lost on how that exactly works. It has like a new set of things that I'm able to switch my end. One of the interesting ones that I see right here, it says that it has now auto translation. So I guess if people come from different parts of the world with their language, right, it's able to switch it into English as the live is happening, which is actually pretty cool, from my end. Because there is sometimes people come in, and they speaking from their language, and so that one's actually nice. I ain't gonna lie, that one's actually nice. Okay, so maybe all these changes ain't that bad. Okay, my bad, my bad. I was just looking at. Hold on. Hello there. Hi, how's everyone doing? What's cracking like in Jose? Um, yeah, about his situation, I felt like his situation. I felt like his child had, certain disabilities, right? Like, he wasn't good with socializing, right? His social skills weren't, to par, right? He always felt maybe different, maybe, out of place. And his father didn't know how to understand the situation, right? And didn't know how to approach the situation. And maybe that's where the chaos happens between their relationship. Because even in the interviews I have seen where both of them are present, the dad really doesn't seem like he knows really like about his child, even though he's saying he does and he now understands and stuff. It really truly does seem like he's still lost, and you can see that his son is mad about the reason, right? Because you obviously, you're gonna be mad if they can't what they're doing is wrong, right? It's gonna anger the child more. So I feel like they still had a lot of working to do with their relationship before they went into all cameras on them, right? Putting him now more in a more difficult situation than he wanted to be in. Now I felt with Little Toro, it was similar but different. Um, Little Toro was more erratic, but yeah, I could see the similarities between the two. How's the weather there? How's work? Work is busy, and the weather so far it's been lovely. It's been lovely today. Clear skies. What's good, Carla? What's cracking like in Alex Jones, mom? What's good, my boy? How's everything with you? The homie Dashpool's definitely up in the building. Damn, it's still early over there where you at. Oh, everyone's awake? All right, all right. I'm surprised they don't have you out there, like mingling and whatnot. Did you see the video? No, I haven't gotten to that. I haven't even gotten to even check my emails to be real. Like once I seen that individual had sent me the Renegade Media, I stay focused in on that subject, right? I even forgot to check the rest of them. I ain't even gonna lie. That one caught my attention because he was talking. It was regarding my area, right? The area that I come from. Um, that's probably why I gave it so much focus. How do you like it over there so far, though? Is it lovely? Street Fighters I never played with. Oh, you never did? Oh, bro, he's one of the best characters, bro. You keep the opponent, at a range because he has his stretches limbs, so you keep the fighter away from you, and he spits fire. No lie though, I used to like picking the wrestler fool. Now, what was he Russian? Was he Russian? I think he was Russian. Oh, I know. I see the comment that you had posted in the video. I see a lot of people say that you a troll and that you like to troll and that this is that, but you're actually a sharp individual, bro. No lie. You can separate and you can see through the madness. I see that. Because yes, there's certain stories when individuals tell about why they got removed or why they're not no longer in good standings, right? Um, Sometimes they can't fail to realize what they were doing wrong, right? Like thinking that you were higher than where you were actually at, right? And because you're not able to see it doesn't mean other people can't see that, right? And maybe you dug your own. Like I said, they always put themselves in these scenarios to get removed, though. It's all fun and games, so people start power tripping, and now it's their turn. You know what I mean? The good part is I got a lot of family there, but it's not the best to be on the streets due to how it is. I feel you. I feel you. But sometimes like you have family in different places, right? And like how you guys don't hardly communicate. Um, there's not really like a bond there, right? I know that sometimes tends to happen with certain individuals, right? They feel out of place. But that's good that you're gelling. Because just because you guys share last names and people are like actual like blood family, right? Doesn't truly make them family. Like the understanding, the loyalty, the bond is what actually makes people family. Because you could have family members that plot against you, shiest you, try getting rid of you. So just because you guys are actual blood doesn't actually make you guys like family. And like if they're connivers like that, I'm not saying in your case, but I'm saying in general. Now people say that blood makes a family. Well, in reality, it really doesn't, though. Because what if they have bad characteristics to them, right? They don't view you the same as you view them. Doesn't the bond and the loyalty make people actual family? You could have friends that actually treat you better than family. That's why when they say blood is thicker than water, that's not always the case, though. That's people that are speaking just they grew up having a normal family and good bond with their family, that they feel like everybody else's family is the same as theirs. When unfortunately that's not always the case, though. Sad to say. I went out to eat my uncle's birthday. Oh, that's right, that's right. So you got the wedding and your uncle's birthday. All right, so it's cool, it's cool. It's going great. That's good, bro. So, bro, said hello there, unknown. What are your thoughts on people who say that the street food in India and Mexico is dangerous and unhealthy? Well, I mean, that could be said about any place, right? Like, oh, it's more unsanitary, but I don't know these big corporations and if these individuals are actually, protocol. You're not there to follow them, you go to the restroom and they actually wash your hands and everything like that, right? I mean, people assume, but assumptions is not facts, though. And sometimes when people have higher bosses above them, they may feel some type of way sometimes, right? And they might want to do something stupid, right, to like stick it to the man, right? And that might come at your expense. Because think about it like this, though, they're still a business, right? Street vendors are still a business nonetheless, right? So let's say if you don't like the food or is nasty or it's unsanitary or whatever the reasons may be, right? That's going to be bad for their business because wouldn't they want to serve something good? That way their customers keep coming back to them. Like, wouldn't they want, to have people talk good about, hey, I ran into this lady who sells food at this right there in the corner of, so and so and so, and she has good shit. Wouldn't they want that kind of promotion? Wouldn't they want that kind of attention? Wouldn't they want that because it's good for business? So if you're doing, the opposite of that, right? You're essentially fucking up your own business, bro. You're sabotaging your own self. Right? So it's not going to be good for business if you go about it that way. So the fact that people say these kind of things is just people that are just, they don't really think about like the situation itself. Like if you really stop and think, well, wouldn't that be bad for their business though? Because I'm assuming they still have to pay bills. She still has to get paid. Mr. Pasa is definitely a casa for the raza. What's good, my Loke? The wedding is still coming up. Been shopping right now. Oh, that's right. That's right. I feel you. Got some PC over console gaming. Oh, I don't know. I never really PC gamed. If in general, I don't think I have ever PC game in general. Isn't it the same shit though? The place I went to yesterday did it. They did some. It was too spicy when I didn't even ask. The food was cooked in a different style than we were familiar with. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Going to new places, trying new things. Um. Now, did you like it because it was cooked different than how you're used to, or did you not like it because of the spiciness and maybe fucked it up? Maybe that fucked up the whole entire thing in general. Hey, it happens. Sometimes you try new things. Sometimes you like it. Sometimes you don't, bro. It happens. It happens. It happens. Like for example, there's tortillas hechas a mano, right? In Mexico, tortillas hechas a mano, and then you have the ones that you buy at the store, the generic kind, right? I actually prefer the generic kind of the ones made by hand. And I know I'm gonna get people saying, what the fuck? Hey, bro, that's just my opinion. That's just how I see it. It's not that much of a big deal, bro. I'm not saying that they're nasty or this one's better than the other. I'm saying that I prefer it that way. Here in India, also most houses don't, dryers. We have to wash the clothes by hand in backyards. Yeah, like that's how it's done in Mexico. No, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Hey, that's why. Hey, when people say that they have it lovely in America, these are the type of things that they're talking about. These are just some of the things that they're talking about. They're not saying that people live like in mansions stuff like that, but like the luxury of having washing machines and drying machines and shit like that. We don't see it as a luxury, obviously, because it's the norm. But if you were to be placed in other places in the world and you see how they do things, you would be like, "Oh, damn, that's crazy." The difference is you right to graphic performance, and I heard you can get more deals and games on console. Yeah, that is true. But in computers, aren't you able to modify things though? Because it's like a computer and you can modify the software. I think that that's maybe why some people prefer PC, right? Because they can modify the softwares in the games. I think though, I'm not sure. I'm spitballing out here. The hot and spicy was the reason I didn't really like. Oh, okay, all right. I feel you. I feel you. Now, I prefer my food hot as fuck though, but yeah, I know that there's some people that don't really like spicy food. Also, the sound of people watching was enough to wake up. I feel you. The 8 is hot as fuck right now because wait. What? The 8 is hot as fuck right now because they no, I actually knew from history. I actually knew that individual, bro. No way. Serio? Damn, that's crazy. I actually knew that individual, bro. He was cool people. Damn, that's some shit right there, bro. That's some shit right there. Was it El Morenillo, no? We are over text. By the way, there are also a lot of Mexican restaurants out here, but surprisingly, the Mexican food made different here. Wait, there's a lot of Mexican restaurants in India? Macs are known for games. So just the big PC consoles, no, the with big looking, not the like laptops and shit like that, no. What's the best struggle meal you never get tired of? That I never get tired of? Probably microwave burritos and cup of noodles. I could eat the shits for days, but it's probably a habit. The Mexican food here is prepared with Indian. Oh, okay, all right, I feel you. Chucky and that bit. Yeah, man, that is crazy, man. I actually knew Toro. Toro was a cool individual, man. He was funny. I knew Toro for a while already. Damn, that's a trip though. Wait, how old was Toro, the one that you're talking about, though? Because the one I'm talking about was like in his 30s. Maybe like 32, 31, 33, maybe the oldest. Especially now because I want to do YouTube. Oh, well, YouTube, all you need is a phone, really. Now, if you're looking to make more complex videos, then yeah, you would need like any kind of laptop, as long as it just has a big hard drive. Because anything with a small hard drive sucks balls. I prefer over anything else. Really? I prefer other products than Apple. I feel like Apple tries to like stick the finger in you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the quality of products sucks, right? But I feel like they try to rip you off on things, though. Thought it was a tall guy with C on his. Oh, okay, yeah. Then we are talking about the same guy. Then. Damn, bro, that is a trip, man. That is a trip. You seen a few every now and then. That's crazy in India, though. I wonder why that is, though. Considering, I mean, it's kind of far away from each other, right? Yeah, who knows? Maybe a lot of Mexicans travel to India. I don't fucking know. Mexican food is worldwide. No, I know that it's the reach is there, right? I just would have never thought to certain areas, though. I always knew, like in the Middle East, obviously, because we have the Middle Eastern in Mexico, right? But I don't know. There's just certain places I wouldn't understand. Did you hear about the 19-year-old? No, I didn't, bro. Man, there's Taco Bells everywhere, though. Mainly tacos and tortas and burritos. The easy ones, though. Yeah. Well, no, he was younger than me. I want to say he was younger than me, though. Yeah, because I remember we were talking. I remember I was older than him. But yeah, he was like in his 30s, though. I would say maybe. Oh, hold on. Maybe I was only like 2 years older than him. I don't know. We get into like asking each other like specifics. Yeah, but I remember we were able to gel and vibe good, you know? We were similarities, obviously. And I met him because right here in my Jale, I used to work with a lot of dudes from H Street. It was maybe like about 4 or 5 dudes that worked where I worked that were from H Street, right? And I was cool with them. We would talk, we were cool. And, during their breaks, a veces llegaban sus homies, to, I don't know, maybe drop them off something. I don't know, right? And, hey, this is the homie, so and so. And, we would introduce each other, yada, yada, right? I got to meet a lot of their homies. And yeah, he was one of the dudes that would come a lot and we would chop it up, you know? Drank in the projects with them a few times. You know what I mean? because I was really cool with like one of them, one of their homies who was from A Street, who I work with. You know, we were cool, like really, really cool. You know, we'll hang out for our breaks and chop it up and shit like that. But then they all ended up getting fired for dumb shit. Nah, not for dumb shit. Some of them were like, Jesus, pasaban de verga. Shredded in the meat shredder and burrito company. Damn, bro, that is no joke. That's all bad. Do you like the Eastern food? I tried some of it. It's pretty good. Never tried Indian food, but I tried Middle Eastern. Right there by where I live, there's a restaurant on Florence and Otis on the corner, across from the Wendy's. And it's a Middle Eastern restaurant. It's called World Famous Grill, and it's an out of restaurant. It's ran by Arabs and and all that, right? And it's pretty good. And everybody because my cuñada used to work at that restaurant back in the days. Mac and cheese. Yeah, even in Mexico, like when they do their hamburgers, they add ham to it, like hams and weenies to the hamburger. It's like ground beef and then the ham and then the weenies. And you don't really see that done over here in America. And they add the yellow cheese, and then they also add like Oaxaca cheese. You know that Oaxaqueño cheese is the best, bro. That shit is legit. Mozzarella ain't got shit on it. Especially on the semitas. Is A Street or Clarence Street still around? Oh, yeah. They're very much still around and very active. Especially A Street. A Street's been active. Pretty active, bro. Every time I'm coming to work, I see their graffiti all the time, bro. And they paint over this shit. They paint it like every day, and every day there's always new hit ups with roll calls and everything. And the last batch of individuals that I had met from A Street, they were only like 15, 14, 13, like that age. You know? And Clarence Street, I have a homie from Clarence, right? The homie Sleepy. So, I'm aware that they're still active, very much still active. Remember the Tina's microwave burritos that were like $10, $40? Oh, yeah, bro. That's the ones I'm talking about. Those are the ones I'm talking about. The green ones and the red ones, the brown ones, purple, orange. I fuck with the green ones and the red ones. Full split with the forklift. Nah, actually, they got fired for dumb shit. Like one of them got fired for tagging up the highway, like the parking lots and everything like that. Right? He got caught and got fired. The other one got fired for he was on something, bro. Bro was hallucinating, right? When the supervisors were here, so he got fired because of that. The other one got fired for stealing. Right? He was stealing like all the coppering wire, the wiring that we use, right, to like wrap up the pallets. You know how you wrap up pallets for when they come and they pick them up. They're like these long ass metal um um like to secure the pallets, right? And those shits are worth feria. Like if you take them and you fucking sell them, resell them, right? So he got caught stealing those shits. And then the other individual just quit. Just I don't know. Got tired of the jale. I don't know. My homie ran a door, and he got fired for running. Damn, bro, that was not playing there. Now, Monterey Jack cheese is the shit though. That it's good stuff, right? But that Oaxaca cheese though, man, that Oaxaca cheese is something else. Puts on a whole nother level. What about other homies from right the north and the east and the? Of course they're gonna say that, bro. They're gonna say that, bro. All hoods are gonna say that. All hoods are gonna say that they run their area. That's just the way. That's just the get down. Have you had homies from? I actually have had homies from Bryant Street, several of them. But that wasn't the purpose of the video when I discussed though. The purpose of the video when I discussed was, um, the way it's being framed though, like the way it's being said, like these Southsiders, these Southsiders, these Southsiders, right? Like, and people could be like, well, who cares if it's all individuals that are displaying negative behaviors? What does it matter if somebody comes and says something that maybe isn't true, right? These people are negative individuals in general, and it's like, well, that's kind of like saying, we're talking about Hitler, who's somebody who's negative and nobody would defend, right? But that's like if somebody comes and says that, oh, Hitler will kidnap children and have them give him blowjobs. People would be like, that's not true. The fuck? He never did that. He never did that. Even though Hitler's a bad person, right? They're not trying to defend Hitler, right? But obviously they're aware of what you're saying is not going to call you out on it. It's not that you're looking to defend an individual who's a negative person, right? But the spread of false information and, um, the lies that are being told, they're going to call you out for it, Not because they're looking to defend this individual, but to call you out because you're spreading misinformation and lies, you know? Like, that's what I mean when I point out these things. It's not like when people be like, oh, they're just trying to come and defend this and defend that. That's one of the things that I get told by individuals. And it's like, no, it's like if we were to be saying anything, about any subject, you're not looking to defend, the behaviors of these individuals who have done heinous things, right? But at the same time, you're not going to allow misinformation or false narratives to be spread, especially if you're calling yourself a journalist. You get what I mean? Let me know. Sorry, shadow posted. Yeah. And not only that, but when I meet up these hoods and I talk about these individuals, like, I see for myself, I see with my own eyes. Like, there's other people that could maybe like speculate or guess, right? But people are not going to tell me what I'm seeing with my own eyes is a fucking lie. You get what I mean? When people be like, this was lying, man, them hoods ain't around. It's like, you going to tell me, my boy. Do you happen to know everybody from everybody? Is a tribute, so many people. Some of them I didn't know like that, right? Some of them actually met when I started doing YouTube, and they were sending me emails, right? And they would send me their numbers, and we would meet up like that. Not to say that like I already knew these individuals. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys I met like that, like through you because of YouTube. Not to say that I already knew, but I did know a lot of people though. When you've been in the streets, you get moved around a lot. You get to meet all kinds of people from different barrios. You know what I mean? At least if you're really out there, you do. Especially if you've been busted. You know what I mean? And when you get to see people for yourself in action, right, you get to get an idea of like how these individuals are. So you get to, be like pretty close to them because of that reason, like because you know that these individuals are really about the business. I just don't go into those details because it doesn't matter. You get what I mean? It's only if I want to paint myself a certain way right here, which I don't care for that. What's cracking like in the homie Rogelio up in the building? Shout out to the tiny boys. Yeah, that's a story I told you about. I'm a Latino singer getting his head. Okay, all right. Yeah, the individual's like, hey, how do you feel about this, right? And sent me a clipping, right? And I was watching it, and I was just like the thing that stood out was the branding of things, though. Like, instead of calling out this individual for his actions, right, that you feel like are appalling, was the branding of things. Like he has names because he said the names, right? He has names of who was involved and stuff like that. But instead of narrating it that way, he was like, these Southsiders, you see how these Southsiders get down? You see how these Southside gangs do? You see how these Southside, and it's like, well, you have the names of the actual individuals. Why do you keep saying these Southsiders? That's like saying if a boxer or a basketball player gets arrested for assaulting his wife. And now I come and talk about the subject, right? And I go, you see how these NBA players are? You see how these NBA players get down? You see the way that these basketball athletes get down? When it's like, well, no, the story was about, I don't know, let's say Steph Curry, right? Now, well, the story was about Steph Curry, right? But instead of framing it, Steph Curry was beating on his woman. I'm like, oh, you see how these NBA players do? See how these NBA players get down? And then to justify me saying those things, I'm gonna be like, oh, and there was and people are calling me out, but there's another case right here. Kobe Bryant did the same thing, so therefore, Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry both did the same thing. Therefore, these NBA players get down like this. It's like, well, just because you find a story here and there doesn't mean that justifies all the players that have ever played for the league, that's their get down and that's the way they get down. It would be reckless for me to come and state it that way. And I know that people would call me out on it, like, well, you just can't say just because these 2 individuals, or let's say 10 individuals did it, that all the basketball players get down like that. But because it's about gang members, that's the reason why people don't choose to ever home in on those things, because how it's negative individuals, they don't choose to justify or call it out, when somebody's doing it. But it's the exact same thing that's being done here. You get what I mean? And I'm not calling it out because I'm looking to defend one side, though, but because of the, like, well, it's not true, right? And how can you say those things? You get what I mean? Like, just because an individual breaks a rule that's in place doesn't mean that individuals allow these type of behaviors. And it's just reckless to come and say it that way. I'm glad you too. You can get always love you. Yeah, but I don't care for that kind of stuff either, though. You know what I mean? That's not why I'm in it either. Or why I do what I do. I have enough friends as it is. Type shit because you went. No. Well, that is the reason why I know a lot of people, right? But not to say that I met everybody from every hood to know these kind of things. You get what I mean? Obviously, that was done also through social media. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to, toot my own horn by saying that, oh yeah, I met people from every hood, because that would be a lie. But you still get the hate feeling with enemies, no? Yes, that is still there, and it's mutual when they're like, I don't get, like, it wouldn't be like love from their side either way, right? Have you had any? No, I wouldn't say I have had any friends, right? Because like, just because you interact with somebody doesn't make you like their friends, right? I've gotten to like individuals on here giving me support, right? But to say that we're friends, I wouldn't say, though. I work with enemies, but I don't mess with them unless I have to. Yeah, I feel you, bro. 100 on that. To the older fruit, but I see how the home. Yeah, no, that's what I mean, though. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same way. Like, I wouldn't interact with these individuals, right? Like, if we were to not be on the same page. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. Good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.